السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. In the series of lecture concerning the course Applied Pharmacognosy, which is designed for fifth year pharmacy student, in this lecture we'll talk about isolation of marine natural products or MNPs. MNPs represent 20% of naturally occurring compound, and there are still many natural products to be discovered. On the other hand, 50% of the novel marine natural products are biologically active. 50% of marine natural products that reported in literature are biologically active. Isolation of marine natural products involve various methods and techniques should be carried out to purify and extract this compound from their marine sources. The nature of marine natural products and their compound create a sort of challenge that facing extraction and purification techniques. This is based on the fact that the marine natural products are present in low concentration in their natural sources. Besides, these marine compounds are unstable. Also, extraction and isolation procedure should be dealt with marine organism and marine compound containing a high level of salt and water level. In this lecture, we address the type of difficulties that facing extraction and isolation procedures and how we deal with. Also, the lecture describe the fractionation procedures that required for how that aid isolation of marine natural products, and also we will talk about the isolation techniques that used for isolation of marine natural compound from their natural sources. As an introduction, marine natural products are representing about 20% of natural product compound, and there are still many more to be discovered. And actually, 50% of the novel MNPs reported in literature are biologically active. The marine natural products having characteristic features and properties, and this is due to the environment within which the marine organism is living. One of characteristic features for the environment for surrounding marine organism is the style of living, which is known as symbiosis. And symbiosis means the marine organism generally live in association or in combination or in shared environment. So this style of living, symbiosis, result in different biosynthetic pathways to organisms that live in it. So the differences in or different type of biosynthetic pathway that occur in organism, that means more versatile and unique compound can be obtained. So marine environment can produce a unique chemical compound that attract attention of natural product chemists, also the pharmacologist and biologist at the same level. So, due to this symbiotic association or symbiotic living style, the production of antibacterial compound from marine organism also follow unique pathway because production of antibacterial from marine is related to the fact that marine sessile organism which receive their data reuptake by filtering seawater. In fact, the seawater contain high concentration of bacteria. So the marine organism can biosynthesize anti-bacterial compound in response to the foreign bacteria that enter to the body of organism. Also, the unique lifestyle of an organism also can result in production of a number of anti-cancer agents. Also, anti-cancer production rely on the fact that sponges occasionally or usually grow together, which create a competitive uh, environment. And the sponge that produce more chemicals to harm the other sponge has advantage. Also, the living environment produce a competitive environment, and the survival of the species of sponge depends on its ability to produce chemical to harm others and uh, to be alone in the environment as competitive manner. So the chemical involved in this type of defense are mostly found to be active against human cancer. There are a number of marine natural products now in frequent rates that have anti-cancer mainly and antiviral besides antipsychotic and wound healing properties. This is the vast number of natural product compounds are as a result of effort carried out by the NCI Institute and their screening program for anti-cancer. Unfortunately, the NCI program stopped in uh, 1983 and followed by the effort uh, created by National Cooperative Drug Discovery Group, known as NCDDG, which is a patent organization between private and public sector in Europe. Here are a number of very natural products that having a clinical importance. The isolation of marine natural product involve various methods that are required to extract and purify compounds, but there are many difficulties or challenges that face the isolation process. These challenges include the need for large sample size and the instability of some compound from marine sources, and also the dealing with high water and salt content, which complicate the extraction, fractionation, and isolation process. And prior to isolation of marine natural products from marine organisms, there are several fractionation steps required to remove the fatty content, to remove the salt content and water content from the extract. then to ease the isolation step. The first step after extraction of marine extract and prior extraction is fractionation. Fractionation is required to purify the extract for this isolation process. But in the fact, marine extracts are extremely complex as chemical compounds, and they contain mixture of neutral, acidic, basic, lipophilic, and amphiphilic compounds, which require several steps for purification. Also, the nature of compound to be isolated is differ according to the aim of the project. Is it for anti-cancer or antiviral activity or for wound healing action? In general, there is no fixed fractionation procedure that can serve for all situations. Another important information about fractionation is that despite of advance in separation technology, experience is still as an important role in isolation of marine natural products because of complexity of the extract and the nature of compound to be isolated. Separation or fractionation of marine natural product requires experience at first for isolation in spite of advancing separation techniques. As a general approach for fractionation of marine extract, fractionation process can be divided into four stages. After extraction of product extract, stage one involves spectroscopic, chromatographic, and biological analysis of the extract to exclude non-interesting and inactive extract. Through biological testing and spectroscopic analysis, we can decide which extract can be continued for further verification or to be excluded. And the second step is dereplication. This is involved in search of in databases and in literature for known extract to be excluded. And then if it is new compound, because the process is costly and complicated, we move to the third level, we include fractionation, and in stage 4, the final purification of marine compound. The first step for general approach for fractionation of marine extract is collection of information about the chemical content, biological activity, nature of compounds, and the type of impurities based on biological and chromatographic analysis. Also, some of information can be revealed or can be explained by the exact taxonomic identification of organism under investigation. Also, it is very important the taxonomy when the marine organism is identified, determine its genus and species, then this information can provide a lot of data that aid in fractionation and isolation step to decide if to is it a new compound or compound which is known and not need for further purification. The information concerning the marine natural products and its natural source can be collected either from literature or previously isolated compound or through uh, biological testing or chromatographic and spectroscopic analysis to ensure we can obtain information about the compound or the extract under processing. The second stage for fractionation of marine natural extract is the dereplication. Dereplication means to identify the extract that contain only non-compound as early as possible before elaborate fractionation step to be carried out. This to reduce the cost and to save the time. And the dereplication depends mainly on the availability of a comprehensive database for non-compound and which is provide information on the source of organism, uh, taxonomic identification, extraction method, the different chromatographic and spectroscopic characteristic of isolated compound. This all information that aids the verification process or identifying the known compound from new one. Here are example of some useful database that's useful for dereplication of marine natural products, including Marine Lived Dictionary of Natural Products and others. Uh, each database provides with its a link which can be reached online from internet. The third step in fractionation protocol after dereplication is removal of unwanted material such as fat and salt using a low resolution separation steps, including liquid-liquid partitioning, solid base extraction (SPE), and size distribution chromatography (SEC). One of liquid partitioning techniques used for removing unwanted material is use of solvent partitioning method developed by Kopchan scientists. This technique is useful for removal of fats and salt as well. And the protocol based on uh, dissolving the extract in containing marine organism in water and then extract it with dichloromethane. At the end, we end with two layers, aqueous layer and organic layer. The organic layer, which may contain the desired or the required marine natural product compound, can be concentrated and suspended in ethanol and water solvent, then extracted with hexane. At the end of this fractionation step, we end with three fractions: ethanol water fraction, dichloromethane fraction, and hexane fraction. And these fractions are considered as polar, intermediate polarity, and non-polar fraction. The aqueous layer again partitioned with butanol or secondary butanol, and then we end with two fractions, water and butanol fraction. At the end of Kopchan partition method, we end with five fractions starting from water, butanol, methanol water, dichloromethane, and hexane fraction. Another defatting method, the part can be unwanted part can be removed by using either a spandex column or using carbon-18 column. In spandex column, we use methanol and dichloromethane as the element, and at the end of this method, the fat and non-polar organic compound can be used first, and the wanted or the required marine natural compound can be retained in the column or used last. The second technique is the use of carbon-18 column, which is known as solid base extraction or SPE, using carbon-18 and using methanol water as washing solvent. And this is considered as a base chromatography or extraction. To remove the unwanted salt by using methanol as solvent, there are several sequential steps should be followed. Firstly, freeze-dried extract can be dissolved by using absolute ethanol, and this process repeated 3 to 4 times. Firstly, the extract can be dissolved by addition of absolute ethanol, and by this process, majority of salt is removed, and further the heating process becomes easier. In the second step, after using absolute ethanol, the extract can be dissolved by using gel matrix such as 7xG or biogel B2 material can be used. This is considered as a defiltration stationary base that separate the compound based on their size. This remove pass away the salt and retain the marine natural compound. If the component to be extracted or the acquired component are hydrophobic, we use ion exchange chromatography using ionic resin or matrices such as ZAT2 and ZAT7, polyethylene or polyethylene powder or porous polyether types. And this is considered as gel chromatography or size exclusion and ion exchange chromatography, which aid the desalting or removal of salt from marine natural products. The last step of fractionation protocol is purification. And purification means use of high resolution techniques such as SEVFC with aim of purifying the interesting compounds to degrees that allow or enable subsequent extraction determination by using spectroscopic techniques such as NMR, NS, UV, and IR. Mixture of bioactive marine compounds can be purified and isolated by using different chromatographic techniques based on different stationary and mobile pairs, including the use of silicon alumina as stationary pairs. There are 5 types of isolation techniques that commonly used for isolation of marine natural products, including reverse-based column, high and medium pressure column on porous material, is considered as size exclusion chromatography. And the third technique is used of combination of ion exchange and size exclusion chromatography, and fourthly, the using of biocell direct fractionation as a means for isolation. And the fifth type of isolation technique is the use of ion exchange chromatography. Reverse polar or reverse-based chromatography is principle based on the use of hydrophobic stationary base as static base and use of combination of organic solvents such as methyl alcohol, acetonitrile, and buffers for as mobile phases. So separation based on interaction between marine products and the hydrophobic stationary base. So we expect that the highly polar compound can be used first, and the less polar or hydrophobic can be remain on stationary base. It is useful for separation of almost all polar compounds, but the main problem of reverse-based chromatography is that the marine national product sample always are few or limited. So separation on reverse base used for final purification and final separation. It needs more or large amount of sample to be purified. The second type of chromatographic techniques that used for isolation of marine natural product is the use of high and medium pressure column. The basic principle of this technique is based on the use of porous matrices as stationary bases. And in fact, these stationary bases or matrices possess both site exclusion and absorption capabilities. Besides, they have ability to withstand high pressure. The type of stationary base used in this technique is carbon 15 and carbon 8 columns beside TSK 125 and TSK 250 and TS 400, and these four brand considered as stationary base of bound silica with porous matrices. All these stationary bases having three main important features. They work as side exclusion stationary base, absorption stationary base, and they have ability to withstand high pressure. The technique is useful for preparative purpose. It means for isolation of large quantity of marine natural product of various material size and can be used for further studies or further analytical purposes. The third isolation technique is a combination of ion exchange and size exclusion chromatography. This technique is based on the principle that the type of stationary base used is using matrices of various both sides having ability to exchange ions or having charge function group. So the stationary base used in this type of isolation technique having three main principles. It works as ion exchange resins because contain charge functional groups. Also work as size exclusion column because the porous matrix containing pores. Also can have a sort of interaction, hydrophilic or hydrophobic interaction with substance to be isolated. Uh, and this type of isolation compound can be separated based on their charge or their size. In general, for compounds with basic characters can be separated by using cation exchange resins, which carry positive charge, and compounds with acidic functional groups can be purified or separated by anion exchange. And usually, strong acid or strong bases are usually uh, strong acidic or basic resin can be used for separation of neutral and acidic compound. And these techniques use mobile phase such as a buffer solution. A biocell directed fractionation means use of in vitro and in vivo system to determine the biological activity of fraction before uh, determine or elaborate for second verification steps. Generally, in biocycle recognition, there are two types of systems that can be used, either using in vitro system or in vivo system. And actually, in vitro systems are commonly used to monitor activity because this technique is uh, it costs a very loss when compared to in vivo system. And another reason is that the test result can be obtained more rapidly than with in vivo test. Because of these two characters, in vitro system are commonly used to monitor activity because of low cost and the rapid result compared to in vivo, which is used when in vitro system are fail or not giving active result or positive result. So for bicidal directed fractionation is used to monitor fraction based on the real activity of extract. For example, the use of anti-cancer using of cell line to monitor anti-cancer activity of fractions in vitro by say fractionation studies because of low cost instead of using the entire organism as in vivo studies. The fourth type of isolation techniques is ion exchange chromatography or IEC. Ion exchange chromatography use ion exchange resin as a stationary phase and using buffer solution as mobile phase and separation of marine natural products based on their charge for acidic compound can be separated by uh, anion exchanger and for basic compound can be separated by cation exchanger. In general, ion exchange chromatography is commonly used for separation of water-soluble compounds from marine natural products and considered as most effective technique you compare it to other techniques used for separation and isolation of NMPs. The properties of marine natural products are different from natural products from other sources, including plant. Uh, there are several difficulties that face isolation techniques. These difficulties is related to the properties of marine natural products. One of these difficulties is taxonomic uncertainty, means the taxonomic information can be sometimes unavailable or the organism is not identified And in fact, taxonomic information can facilitate literature search on compounds produced by species under investigation and their method of verification. So the accurate identification can aid the process of searching on information compound in literature in order to select the appropriate extraction and verification methods. But incorrect or incomplete taxonomic information can lead to difficulties if assumptions are made about the chemistry that the organism may contain. A wrong identification can lead to selection of wrong extraction or verification techniques because their incorrect identification of the type of chemical compound that occur in organism. The second type of difficulties that face the isolation of marine natural product is the presence of highly potent marine metabolite in trace amount, and this can complicate the extraction and isolation process. For example, the isolation of only 10.7 milligram of antitumor macrolide, known as spongistatin 4, uh, need about 2.5 ton of the marine organism known as uh, spongy, belong to the genus Spercetrella genus. And actually 2.5 ton equal to 1,500 kilogram, which is too much. 2,500 kilo can result in only in a few milligram, 10 milligram or more. The third type of the important difficulties that face the isolation of marine natural product is instability of metabolites. And in fact, marine extracts contain extremely labile compound which decompose at any step during the purification process. And this compound or this extract can be decomposed when exposed to heat, to light, air, or even to different or higher pH. Another factor can affect the stability of marine extract is the separation techniques used itself. For example, the stationary-based alumina using chromatography can catalyze aldol condensation and dehydration reaction for marine compound. Also, silica gel, when used as stationary base, can enhance oxidation and rearrangement or the methylation of the bioactive compound. Also, solvents such as acetone and methanol can form or can be raised to adduct, forming a new compound or complex compound. Also, the acidic nature of some NMR solvent, such as deteriorated chloroform CdCN3, may cause degradation of highly pH sensitive compound. Also, one of the difficulties that facing isolation of a natural product is the verification of water soluble compound. And in fact, almost all marine natural products are highly polar compounds. So, in aqueous solution, the main problem for isolation is that is water can provide a good media for growth of fungi and bacteria, which then by then the active ingredient can be degraded or give false result in bioassay because of antitoxin produced by these microorganisms. And to solve this problem, to stop the growth of microorganisms, there are three methods can be used. Either by addition of alcohol or a small amount of immiscible organic solvent such as ethanol and or toluene, which inhibit microbe growth, or if the compounds are not heat sensitive, in case of heating or autoclaving can be done. You can autoclave the extract or heat the extract if the compound is heat stable. For example, nearest toxin, known as insecticide, is heated to prevent microbial growth. And the third techniques used to stop microbial growth is by using freezing for aqueous extract to remove the solvent. Use freeze drying or lyophilization to remove the water from water soluble extract. And lyophilization is considered more preferable techniques in case of heat sensitive marine natural product. The fifth type of difficulties that facing isolation of marine natural product is difficulties in identification for this type of compound whom lacking UV chromophores. As we know, chromophores is a functional group that considered such as dyes or aromatic ring that can absorb light, UV light, and can be detected by UV detectors. So compound lacking UV chromophore is difficult to be identified by UV spectrophotometer. And in fact, UV detectors are commonly used in HPLC, which is commonly used in analysis of natural product compound because it is easy and give high and precise and sensitive for or highly sensitive for few or small quantities of active constituent. But its weakness of SCVSC, its weakness is use of UV detector to detecting isolated compound. And if the compound lack chromophore, it is difficult to be isolated and identified by HPLC UV chromatographic technique. Also, for some type of solvent used in normal base chromatography, such as LC or liquid chromatography, are a strong absorber of UV light, which means that low detector wavelength settings are not pursued. So the compound lacking chromophore having two difficulties in isolation process. One of the difficulties is that they are not detected by HPLC UV method, although HPLC is considered as a more precise technique for isolation of natural product. And another thing is that the marine natural products are polar compound and can be extracted by or fractionated by polar solvents such as methanol, such as ethanol itself. But the problem is that ethanol also can absorb UV light, which interfere the detection process of
marine natural product, especially in wavelengths, short wavelengths, or low wavelength detectors. At the end of this lecture, uh, you know that isolation of marine natural products involve various methods can be used to purify compounds from marine organism. Uh, but the isolation process can be faced with a number of difficulties related to the nature and the properties of marine organism and marine compound. One of these problem is the presence of a small quantity of active ingredient in marine organism and the instability of compound and the dealing with all the process of isolation can be carried out for solution of extract containing high salt and high water content and highly polar compound. And these challenges can be resolved by using several uh, isolation techniques, including ion exchange chromatography and combination of ion exchange and size exclusion chromatography, and using high and medium pressure chromatographic techniques. Besides the fractionation of extract before isolation to aid the process of separation and removing of unwanted material. In the lecture, we talk about fractionation techniques of marine natural products, isolation technique used for verification of marine natural product, and difficulties in isolation on how to handle or how to deal with these difficulties. And we end with purified compounds that can be identified by using spectroscopic techniques, including UV, IR, NMR, MS, that we speak in details in the lecture of structure and utilization of natural product.